morning, brothers and sisters. This is Professor Spira, and it's been a while. It's been longer than I would like since I've been able to sit down and have a chat with you. And sitting here messing around with my keyboard. You know, a lot of people ask, what do I do, for my spiritual practices and belief systems and all that, and I just say, play music. That's pretty much my suggestion. Learn how to play music. If I get stressed out or I'm kind of anxious or anything like that, I can come to the keyboard. Just improvise and just play, and I've been able to do that for much of my life. Just growing up. And never had any formal lessons until I got older, and I had lessons with trombone, but yeah, piano I was kind of taught myself how to play, and which I'm happy about now because it gave me a level of freedom to not be kind of put into a little box and be real narrow-minded in how I approach it. And I'm just able to really play for me and myself. I do play and perform for other people and publicly, and I love that. I love performing, but there was periods in my life where I sat and I just played music for myself, and that was part of my my offering. Part of going inward and being connected to myself. Just because it's clearing my mind, being totally connected, and that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to remove the obstructions and enable ourselves to connect with who we really are, because we are not pus and mucus heads. We're not meant to be these big chicken eating just feces eating. I mean, it's like there I go, I'm already getting nasty with it. But that's really, and I didn't know, and a lot of people don't know, because we're not taught that. We're not taught what is really in dead animal flesh. We're not taught that humans not only don't have to eat that stuff, but perform and operate a lot better without it. We're not really taught these things, and well, at least I wasn't, and a lot of other people aren't. But the consciousness is starting to rise, and we're starting to realize that we don't have to go down that same road. We can improve our longevity, improve our health, improve all these things, get away from the status quo, enabling, mucus enablers. Society is built on enabling each other to eat pus and mucus forming foods. You drive up the street and you see all these ads, a big half naked woman with a big burger over here, and then there's one of the weirdest things is to have the cartoons of animals selling dead animal. And so you have some little pig dressed up in a cook outfit selling. It's bizarro world, but you don't really realize that until you clean yourself up. You just think, oh well, that's cute. It's pig selling. I mean, look under that. I mean, look underneath that. What is that really about? When you have an animal being featured to sell that animal, to sell its brothers and sisters and mothers, and it's acting all happy. I mean, there's there's parallels in history that we can look to for that. It is we can start with slavery. We can start with just a total lack of empathy, and that's a topic that I really want to get into more. Is one of the most powerful things about the Mucusless Diet healing system is its ability to transform a person's not only a person's consciousness, but to imbue higher levels of empathy. I mean, that's heavy. Nobody else is talking about that in that way. I mean, you have maybe some of the animal rights activists, but we're talking about this isn't just a moral, because you get to that just by changing your lifestyle, changing your diet, cleaning things up. You will get to the morality part if that's not what brought you here. Because that's not what got me into the diet. What got me into the diet was I just wanted to feel better and lose some weight or whatever, and then the diet just transformed everything, and I was ready for it. That's the one thing you got to be ready for, a total change, a total different thing. But the morality thing really will come later as you become more empathetic. As you clean yourself up, you start to feel deeply, if you didn't already, because if you already feel deeply for your fellow humans, your fellow animals, then this will just solidify that, and now we can start maybe calling ourselves humans. We're trying to get to that human level. But I like to say, we all have a little bit of, sociopathic tendencies just to survive in this society. For me, it's more of a spectrum. I think we're all somewhere on that spectrum, because there's a lot of people they can have unconditional love for their family members and other people that they associate with, or people that look like them or that do the same things, but then be very xenophobic when it comes to other humans. Because they don't identify oftentimes these other people as humans that's on their level. They're like, oh, that's, or they're scared of them. And we unfortunately see a lot of this insane fear in the United States of America. People are just so scared of other people, and that person, they got darker skin than me, or do they got a bomb? And it's like, but again, take the pus and mucus out of that equation. Take any one of them scared people, take pus and mucus out of their diet, and I guarantee they will not be as xenophobic. Again, about the mechanics of developing a more empathetic human being, not based on morality, not based on philosophy, but based on training. Take the pus and mucus out of that equation. Take any one of them scared people. Sorry. Take the pus and mucus out of that equation. Take any one of them scared. I don't know how that happened. I didn't open it. That was like thing is opening up. The video of me talking right now opened up, and it's like the 30-second delay. So I apologize for that rude interruption. But yeah, take pus and mucus out, and you're not gonna have these people that are so scared of other people that regardless of what you were brought up to believe, your prejudices and all these things that are culturally constructed, you get to a point where once you understand who you are, you can look inward and understand, wait a minute, I'm the same as those people. On a certain level, I'm the same as these animals. If these animals are beaten, they scream with pain. They mourn when you take their child away. When a mother cow has a little baby stripped from her, they mourn. When they're on their way to be slaves, because that was something that got to me even before I got into diet, and people, there would be meat eaters that would kind of do this whole animals don't have, they're not humans, they have no consciousness, they're just whatever, like they're just these, because I don't even know why you would want to, even if they were subhuman or whatever, why would you want to treat them like that? Beat them and slaughter them and kill them and all this kind of and kind of stuff. And in the news recently, I tried to do a separate video on there, talking about slaughterhouses. There's some chicken houses where just not only the way it's like, not only do they treat these animals horrible, where they're obviously they're killing the animals, and a lot of them are tortured. The whole process is torturous. Study this stuff. This is what should be taught to kindergartners. They should be. I would have loved to have been watching some slaughterhouse videos. Now that'd be controversial. Like, oh, when else you gonna? Little kids watch these murderous movies. That's okay. Violence is okay. Don't show them anything real. Stay away from anything sexual. Stay away from anything that's too real about your reality. But someone with a fake gun and people acting fake dead, that's that's totally all right in our society. But so anyway. So we have a lot to talk about. It's been quite a while, but as always, it's a privilege to broadcast out to all of you. And the main thing that I really wanted to talk about today was signing up for the Mucus-free Life Insiders Club. Now, in the past, I've had my mailing list going for a while, and there was a period of time where I was real consistent with trying to send out newsletters and updates, and at the same time, I was doing a lot of videos and all this kind of stuff. But over the next month or two, we're actually moving away from some of my old platforms that I was using. So I'm still using some of the same email systems and newsletter systems and stuff, but I'm starting this transition to do a little stronger system for where we're trying to get to. Where we're trying to go is I need something a little bit more robust, so we're moving in that direction. But so as I do that, I'm trying to get my list together. The people that are on lists that maybe don't really want to be on the list, we can kind of filter them out. And those of you that really want to be the first to know when something goes down, you're going to want to be on the list. Now, if you look down below, there should be a link there, and you're going to want to sign up right now. And the reason is because sometime tomorrow, I'm going to be sending an email out to the entire list, and there's going to be 50% off of a download of the Annotated Mucusless Diet Healing System audiobook. Yes, the audiobook is being released within the next couple days. In fact, it really will be released tomorrow, but I'll probably announce it like Monday and really have people coming in. But this is for you, for tomorrow. All of you that are able to hear my words from the broadcast, that means you're plugged in, you're connected, you subscribe on YouTube, or you follow what we're doing on Facebook or whatever. So you're plugged in. You're gonna want to sign up for this newsletter list. There's gonna be other stuff from deals and coupons and announcements and some videos that are only for the Insiders Clubs. There's a lot of things that I want to talk about. And there's a lot of things that people tell me they want me to talk about, things that are a little bit more, I would say, taboo, I guess, in terms of YouTube, because there's a limit to really what you want to get into there. I like YouTube to be just sort of the basics. We cover, transition diet, fasting, transition diet. We kind of stay on message on the YouTube, but there's after the past year and a half, 2 years, there are more advanced practitioners of the Mucusless Diet now. I mean, this is unprecedented. You've always had practitioners in Mucusless Diet, but now you're having a group of people that have been doing it for 2, 3, or 4 years consistently. That sort of came in this new wave of the mucusless education, that is a result of Brother Air's efforts and my efforts and others to try to usher in this new era of mucus-free living, and just to make that information available. And so now there is a need to have a situation where people can get the more advanced information. Talking about the fall, that I was always kind of cautious about really getting into that type of discussion on YouTube, because I imagine people that never read the Mucusless Diet Healing System book, or just coming into this thing, having heard about it from somebody like Dr. Sebi or Dr. Morris or whoever, and they like, oh, Arnold Air, and they find the stuff. They don't need to find a video about the fall first. You need to read the book. You need to go through some stuff. Then we can sort of talk about these more advanced topics. Brother Air, last time we did a video, he was talking about the fall fund. But of course, before that is important to you, you got to understand what the fall is and why a fall fund, meaning putting money away for a rainy day. If you go through some kind of elimination, it's basically being prepared, not if you go through something, but when. There's an advanced level of Mucusless Diet practice that you get to, and you understand that at some point you're gonna go through what we call the fall. You're gonna go through serious healing crisis or whatever. It's a part of the healing process. I don't know anybody that's been able to side swipe it or skip over it. It doesn't work that way. We've done certain things in terms of breaking natural laws. We've lived how we've lived. Our parents have lived how they lived. And so we got to go through what we got to go through. We got to pay reparations for the lives that we lived, the animals that we killed. I mean, if nothing else, we got some karma coming back, so it's not all going to be fun and daisies and stuff. That's one thing when I'm going through something and I feel kind of like I want to feel sorry for myself or something. That's when you put on a good slaughterhouse video and be like, oh, yeah, I ate like that for however long. I was a part of the industry that did that to those underdeveloped humans, as Brother Air would call it. So, see, the Mucusless Diet will push you to really cultivate your character, because I'm not saying be hard on yourself. I'm saying accept responsibility for what you did and live your life and keep moving and live better. Feeling sorry for yourself or being hard on yourself, or or shouldn't have did this, and I'm a bad person. Like, no, you're a great person. It ain't about being a good person. It's about being a better person. And that's what the Mucusless Diet Healing System is all about. It's not, and a lot of people, I think, have a misunderstanding of what is going on, is what we're talking about when we say that this diet is about process, and it's about the lifestyle and reconstructing your bloodstream, because everybody wants to get someplace. They want to have this idealistic goal of when they have arrived, and they say, well, what foods are mucus forming, and how long can it take for me to, I want to be mucusless next week or next month, or Eric says 2 years, so I'm gonna do it in 2 years. And it's like, you're missing the point. This isn't about just some idealistic destination. It is about the fundamental transformation of yourself, physically, mentally, spiritually, on all levels, and being open to whatever that is and to whatever that will be, because as you start to go along the path, oftentimes it will be very different than what you anticipated, than what you thought. So what you've heard, because you have all this information, or you've heard everybody talking about all these different things, and it's all this kind of stuff. And the Mucusless Diet has a way of just sort of cutting through all that, and you realize, oh, okay, this is different. This isn't, this isn't really what I thought it was. It's actually better than I thought it was, but I'm still shocked because I didn't know. I didn't realize that it was going to do that. So there's a lot of left hooks, and it's hard to it's hard to talk about those things sometimes or prepare people for those kind of things. But so anyway, my point there is that we need a space now where more advanced practitioners can come together and talk, and I can get into some deeper stuff. Have Brother Air come in and really get, just got kind of wind him up and just let him go off, because sometimes when we talk, he don't really hold back, but we're both conscious of who we're talking to in terms of people that are a little bit more beginners. Brother Air really likes to communicate with the folks that's in the forum because they are a little bit more advanced, and we support each other. That's the whole point, is a support system of people that are on this level that really understand that we need to transform ourselves, transform our communities, transform our societies based on their Mucusless Diet healing system. So we come together and have community around that. So there's a lot of things in store. Just along those, just speaking of sort of the advanced groups and that kind of stuff, those are things I've been talking about. Some of that with me and Tony would talk about that sometimes, and some other people, in terms of how to create, if we create another kind of group or form or something that's just a little bit more for some of the advanced folks, and those kind of things are going to be coming down the pipe. But if you want to be a part of that, then please sign up for the Insiders Club, because you're going to get you'll be happy that you did. I mean, you're going to be the first people to know when something's released, when there's a deal on something. I just really want to be able to do a lot of stuff with that. I'm gonna start putting a lot of focus on that, and definitely at least have one newsletter a month. It's just sort of a formal newsletter, and we talk about a lot of different things. We talk about I want to acknowledge people in the community that are doing great things. And this next newsletter tomorrow, I'm gonna feature Israel Frutal, who's been just doing some remarkable things, and talk a little bit more, some personal things about my life, and share some things that are of a little bit more personal nature. I don't always come and talk, do a whole lot. Like, I talk about personal things that happened that's related to the Mucusless Diet from years ago, or things that come like that. But oftentimes I don't get into what I'm doing at the moment, because pedagogically it's hard. In terms of educating people, it's hard to talk about what I'm doing today and then have people fill in the gaps of what was what I did to get where I'm at, and why I'm where I'm at. And because it's hard for people to understand, Mucusless Diet is not a straight line kind of system. I mean, I like to think of it more as a spiral, and you just continually keep spiraling up and up and up. So there's times when you're going up. I'm in this fruit mode, then you kind of come back down. You're eating some mucus lean again, okay, but then you go back up. So you're never way down here for too long, and you don't get greedy and say, oh wow, I'm feeling so good, I'm gonna keep going. I'm never gonna eat vegetables again. Oh, wow, didn't transition. Sorry, you felt it, and that's what can be deceptive, because you can feel it for a minute. You can feel the fruit modes when you get into them, and the fasting and all that stuff. But I always promote the transition, because most of the people that I come across haven't transitioned long enough and really, really given themselves to the transition, allowed themselves to work out these addictions, work out these elements systematically using the methods of Mucusless Diet Healing System and Arnold Ehret. It's just so rare for me to hear people out there talking about that, because if you're, you know, a lot of the Dr. CB followers, you know, they're sort of obsessed with the food list and his, you know, CB's food list, and focus on that. Like, okay, this, you know, everything on here is what's going on. So they get, you know, food lists and herbs and stuff, and they kind of miss a lot of what Arnold Ehret talked about in terms of transition and, you know, system and fasting, colon irrigation, you know, all these kind of things, you know, kind of left by the wayside. You know, then you, of course, like Dr. Morris. You know, I love Dr. Morris. He's a cat. You know, you know, really respect what he does and everything. But I think all of his people could benefit from, you know, folks that find his information. Sooner or later, they could benefit from understanding the principles of the transition diet. Because I've not met anybody that's been able to, including Dr. Morris, you know, that's been able to skip over the transition and just, okay, I'm just going to be fruit and stay there for the rest of your life. Maybe you might be able to do it for 2 years, 3 years. But at some point, if you never went through sort of this gradual, incremental change to where you made permanent physiological changes to the point where it's impossible to go back to certain things that you used to be into, then you know, then at some point you probably you're either gonna fall back, or you will sort of find a way to eat mucus forming foods within the context of some other thing. You know, and a lot of raw foodists kind of do that, where they're like, well, I'm raw, and that's the most important thing. It's just being raw. It doesn't matter if I eat a ton of nuts and seeds, and which is, again, fine on the transition, but they don't look at it like that. They look at it like that's fine for life. Avocados are fine for life, and like they've made it. Like, I'm raw, I've made it, and that's I have a problem with that type of attitude, the I've made it attitude. You'll never see me say I've made it. It's like, nah, man, this is about constant transformation, because there's always another level. There's always a higher level. You ain't never done. But that's why I like to compare Mucusless Diet to art, because an artist would tell you, go find the greatest masters of any art form in any time period, and they're still practicing. You know, they're still working on their craft. You know, they still have this attitude. Many of them still have this attitude, like they know that they're good. You know, but they have this. There's a humbleness. They also know that they could be so much better. So there's no limit. There's no ceiling. It's infinite. How far we can go is infinite. But there's a process that is based on natural laws that we have to adhere to. And because people, based on stimulant, based on mucus and pus poisoning, we have very little patience. And that's an issue. And the Mucusless Diet Healing System will teach you how to be very patient, because you will have to really allow things to work out. Sometimes it's not going to be, you know, you eat, you know, big mucus lean meal, you know, you gotta wait now. You know, you can be oh, man, I ate that, and you know, now, well, go about your day, you know, do an enema and then go about your day. And then the next day, you know, so look, strategize and look at, well, what can I do to maybe make that situation not happen? And that's where we look at the triggers. What kinds of things trigger your mucus eating and that kind of thing. And so that's I've got a whole series on mucus and pus addiction, addiction to mucus and pus forming foods and stuff. So anyway, again, I'll probably wrap this up. I mean, I could sit here, once I get going, I could sit here and talk forever. I'm hoping that I'm seeing a weird thing with the video, like I'm hoping it's not doing that on your end. I don't know what that is. It's like the lighting is doing something funny. That's not my lights. That's like my camera. If you see something weird like that, just flickering thing. So apologize about that. I think it's time for me to get a new webcam because this webcam is this is a little bit older. But definitely please sign up. If you're interested in what we talk about at all, the Mucusless Diet stuff. If you're getting to this video late and you already missed, you're way beyond this, this deadline of May 14th, 15th. If you're watching this in 2017, you're still gonna want to sign up. The link, I'm gonna make it a point to make sure the link stays current, so you can sign up for the list, and that way you will be, again, basically put to the front of the line. You can be the first one to know about new things that come out, the first one to hear about news within the mucus-free community, just all that. So that's where you want to be. Let's see, couple other announcements. Now down the road, well, I won't talk about that yet. I'm gonna save that. There's something I got a surprise for later. Gotta save a little bit and give it all the way right away. But on Saturday and Sunday, the 21st and 22nd of May, I believe it was 21st, 22nd. Saturday, May 21st and Sunday, May 22nd, I will be in Sacramento, California. Some wonderful folks are bringing me in to do a basically, a series of lectures and talks, or whatever you want to call workshop. It's really like a workshop kind of environment, and just talking about the Mucusless Diet, and I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You'll really get an opportunity to. I mean, it's always a blessing when you have a room full of people that are halfway conscious about diet, understand that this is a priority. There's nothing like it, walking into an environment like that and being able to share, and everybody share. I share my experience and my knowledge, and there'll be other people that share their thing. We just share, we elevate each other's spirits, not just the knowledge, but spirit, because at that point it's about coming together and you get that spiritual vibration. Musically, we're always trying to do that as musicians, as we come together with other musicians, or when we're playing for an audience, it's about bringing everybody together and connecting people together in ways that are indescribable, that are unscientific. It's just like, wow, there's a vibration, and there's a science of vibration and gravity and connectivity, when it comes to those kind of things that we have to really explore with the Mucusless Diet healing system, because when we get to certain levels of cleanliness, we call it the plug-in. When I did my first really long fast, like one of the things Israel is, he's doing a long juice fast. He's been into this juice fast for like 120 days or something like that. Was it 140 days? I can't remember. But long juice fast. And I myself did a series of long juice fasts, years ago, earlier in my diet days. But one of the things that really helped me be able to do that, because I didn't set out to do that, and I don't promote that. You don't see me up here telling people you gotta fast long, you gotta do the, you know, like, no, you'll never hear me talking like that. That's almost like a calling. Like, you're spiritually called. Like, when you know you've transitioned enough, you know you understand the system and that kind of thing, and that you basically submitted to the system, to the process, to the Mucusless Diet, then you might get that call from the universe, or whatever word you want to use. You get the call, and now are you ready? You know, are you think you are, you know, you might think, you know, some hubris, I can, yeah, if I was there, you know, but then when you really get that call, are you ready? See, that's different, you know, and those kind of, and that kind of fasting is different from if you sort of jump right into a fruit period and with no transition, because I know there's people that do that, or there's people that kind of get into these like 40-day fasts and all this kind of stuff without transition. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about having transition for 2, 3, 4, 5 years with regular lemon juice enemas and really understanding the system, short-term fasting. That is a different physiology. When you do a long-term fast with that body, that's way, way different than doing a long-term fast with, you know, someone that's, you know, with like, you know, last year you were eating meat and this year you're being raw, or you're trying to do periods of all fruit and all that. I mean, it's all good to a certain extent, to the extent that you understand that if you hit a ceiling, you have a book to come back to that can help you transition, because I've seen way too many people fall off the wagon and go all the way back. So that becomes kind of the blessing in disguise, is at least you're getting this message, so you'll know that, okay, I need to take that step back and transition. But it's a different thing when you get plugged into the vibration and you get called and you accept that call, and you do a long fast, you know, like Israel is doing, or like Brother Eric doing. And my first one, I really took note of how everybody was plugged into everybody else. You know, we were all feeding on each other, and that's what we were. It's like that was what we were feeding on. Was we were all like in this together, kind of fasting, and that doesn't mean we had to always, you know, be together, be doing something. I mean, we were together a lot because I, you know, live real close to Brother and stuff, but it was more of a vibrational connectivity, and where you could feel each other, and not even just through vibration, you know, not even have to, you know, it's hard to explain because it's real, you know, like I said, there's not a whole lot of science that can explain some of these kind of things when we get into this. And so, but that's something that I would like to see more of down the road, is really looking at that. And it's different. It's not the same. If you know, and I've seen some people that'll put up some of the stuff like in Facebook groups, like, hey, I'm doing a fast. Why don't you fast with me? Like, I mean, that has its place, but this is different. You know, this is a different thing that I'm talking about. It needs no announcement. It happens. And I know with, you know, Israel's fast now, everybody can feel it, and he's sharing it. Because oftentimes you don't even really share it. It's just something that was felt, because I never talked about when I was fasting. You know, I didn't go around telling everybody I was fasting. I mean, that's pretty much what I do. I really don't, unless it's educational and it's going to help somebody else. I keep things like that to myself. You know, so you really don't know when I'm fasting or not. You know, unless you ask. I mean, I don't hold it back or hide it, or whatever I'm doing. If it's the right venue and we're having a conversation, but it's not something that, you know, where I'm always kind of like, well, you know, I didn't eat today, you know, like, nah, because I think that's one of the profound things that comes out of, and I don't remember which passage, maybe somebody could put that down in the comment section, but the passage out of the Bible, you know, talking about, you know, the highest level of fasting is to fast, and nobody knows you're fasting. You know, so they can't tell it from looking at you. and you're not talking about it, so nobody knows. And that is, to me, really, you know, it's a high level. And but it's also a high level too, because I think Israel, I mean, I didn't know he was fasting for a long time before he kind of shared, but his sharing was coming from the right place. It wasn't coming from like some ego place of like, oh, look what I'm doing. It's coming from a place of like, look, this really motivate, inspiration, you know, because it was like, okay, at that point, sharing it was going to inspire people and to educate people. Not, and this is again why I always had to say, it's not about, we're not telling you to go and do some long fasting like that. Especially, I mean, there's people that have watched this video and just hear about this, not read the book, not study, and then want to try to go fast. Well, that's my disclaimer is I didn't tell you to do that. I'm telling you, read the Mucusless Diet book, read Rational Fasting, read Spirit Speaks, start transitioning, you know, just, no, we're not even, you know, we're not even talking about that. It's like, you know, well, I'll give you an example. It'd be like, okay, this is my dissertation. If some of you have been following me on social media, you know, I just graduated with my doctorate May 8th. And so I figured I'd spend a very long time working on this, so I will show it off a little bit. Ohio State University's degree in musicology with a specialization in ethnomusicology. And I do have my dissertation up on my academia.edu, which if you're interested in that, you know, send me a message and I'll send that to you. But so this is my dissertation. Now, when I was in 6th grade, I wrote a research paper that was, I don't know, it was like 3 pages, 2 or 3 pages. Now in 6th grade, I thought that was 2 or 3 pages was like crazy. Like, man, that's a lot of pages, because I was having trouble with a paragraph or 2. And so 2 or 3 pages was like, wow, that's huge, you know, as your big research paper. You know, get to high school and it's, you know, still kind of 3, 4, 5 page papers. It's still like, wow, you know, 2-page paper is crazy. And, you know, get to college and now we're starting to talk about 5-page papers, 6-page papers in undergrad, and you're still like, wow, it's like, okay, well, you know, but it's still throughout the whole process, it's feeling tough. You know, then you get to graduate school, now you're writing 20-page papers, 30-page papers. And somewhere along the line, writing a 40-page paper, a 50-page paper is nothing. That's like, oh, that's, you know, looking at a paper that's 50 pages, kind of, oh, that's cute. That's a cute little paper. That's what that level of fasting, and people don't want to accept that. People want to, you know, you can't skip over steps. You can, and just because you see somebody else doing something, you gotta respect that. You know, respect the work that they did to get where they're at. Is respect that transition. You respect that and stay into your wherever you're at with your transition. You'll focus on you. That's the one sort of a drawback from the forum situation is with so many people at so many different levels, it can throw some people off, because you see, like, here's somebody doing this long fast, and then here comes somebody that throws up a picture of some, you know, a mucus lean meal. Then you got some other people that say, well, I've eaten nothing but fruit for the past 2 weeks, and so you can't be trying to plug into what everybody else is doing and say, okay, well, I'm going to do that, or I'm going to pattern myself after that person. That's the challenge of the Mucusless Diet, because it's not about that. You can't pattern yourself like that over what anybody else is doing. That doesn't mean you don't study them. That doesn't mean you don't. One of the ways that I really developed myself in the Mucusless Diet was I studied everybody that I could find that even remotely knew anything about the Mucusless Diet. I would study people that practiced the diet for a week, for a day, read the book, never did anything. People that practiced it for years and years, and everybody in between. So I sort of developed this database in my head of all of the different variations of people practicing the diet, and then I drew on that knowledge to practice it my own way based on my physiology. But I didn't allow what all these different people were doing to shake me up in terms of my path and what I needed to do for me, because it ain't about them, and it ain't about getting, you know, somebody to like you or whatever. You know, it's about finding your path, you know, your mucus-free path, and committing to it. You know, and that's the challenge. So, and that's what I'm saying. Whereas for some reason with fasting, people don't see it like that. So if I was to tell you, if you know, I hold this up, it would sort of be like if you've never wrote a book before or wrote a big dissertation. You know, it would be like you seeing this and be like, wow, tomorrow I gotta start. I want to do that. I want to write 505-page dissertation like Spira, so I need to start tomorrow. But you know how many years it took me to write this? But that's what I'm saying with the transition. It took Brother Air years to get to the point that he can do these things that blow people's mind in terms of dry fasting and the long term, just the things that he does is based on years and years and years of dedicated transition and applying the principles and sticking to his path. And that, if you get anything else out of this, besides signing up for the Insiders Club, if you get anything else out of this video, it would be that you know, stick to your path, study, and I'm a fan of studiousness. Study everybody that you can that practice the Mucusless Diet. I've created Spira Speaks as a way to at least get some of the information out there, and you know, so that's sort of a good source where you can check out a lot of different people's experiences are all put into that book in terms of distilled down to the really important elements that can help you better understand your own transition. But you know, in the forum, just seeing the kind of things that people are trying and talking about and that kind of stuff, you know, and then allow yourself to go on that journey. You know, allow yourself to just really go wherever this thing takes you, and that can be, I mean, it's a real adventure when you live a diet like that. It's definitely an adventure, because you never know. You know, you never know what's in store, what's gonna happen, and what's gonna change, because that's tough for a lot of people. There are things that start to change about their personality, things that they liked that they no longer like. You know, they might have liked going to the club all the time, or getting high over with the kids and over there, or doing this, or you know, all these different things, and all of a sudden you start not liking those things, and a lot of people don't. That scares them. Like, wait a minute, I used to always like doing that, and now I don't even want to do that. Whoa, you know, and they'll think something's wrong with them. It's like, well, it's something right with them, because a lot of them activities are based in pus and mucus eating, and you know, and so that's where you take the willpower out of it. A lot of it's like stuff, places that you don't need to be, the stuff you don't need to do. You know, you don't need a mother telling you to not do something. You won't want to do it. And like I said, that for a lot of people, that's gonna wait a while. I want to do what I want to do. Well, you know, then you get you a state, and you can do what you want to do. But when you start to really clean yourself up, you're gonna want to remove chaos from your life. And that means there's, you know, certain people and places and things that do not contribute to a chaos-free life, and those things will be, you know, eliminated. And the emotional side, Sedona method. Check out my video on the Sedona method. Talked about that with a couple of people this week. There's a lot of different kinds of methods for emotional release and, you know, bringing things up and learning to let them go. Sedona method is my thing. Yoga, you know, science of breath work and yoga traditions. There's a lot of different things. Do something. Find what works for you. But, you know, I encourage anybody to take a look at Sedona method, but understand that that's something that you're gonna have to deal with. Because when you start to clean yourself up, your all of your pain and all of your old stuff that you suppressed. Society taught us how to suppress things really good, but they didn't teach us how to release anything. So you suppressed all this. Anytime you saw somebody that you was prejudiced against, that you didn't like, or you look at somebody with that little or something, or you get a little scared of something, you suppressed all of that stuff. And that's when you start to clean yourself up, this stuff starts to come up. And if you don't know what it is or why you're feeling like that, you're going to be real confused. And then you're going to blame it on the diet. When all you're doing is all of your stuff, baggage that you've been pushing down is starting to come up. And so it's your responsibility to siphon it off. That's another reason why it's important to transition, because you try to dive in and do some of these longer things with no transition. All of this, you can't handle a lot of that, some of that emotional stuff. And a lot of people, you know, if you've gone through tough stuff growing up, and, you know, everybody has, you know, just a lot of different experiences, and some folks have some real tough experiences, and as a survival mechanism, they had to suppress the way they were feeling at the time. And you gotta know how to eliminate that, siphon off these emotions, because it's you know, and I'm talking about it just because it's important. It's not talked about enough. I should talk about it more, but for me, it's just part of the transition. It goes hand in hand. It's not separate. It's not like, okay, here's our diet part, the transition, and then way over here we got the emotion. It's like, no, it's the same thing, because the emotions are fueling whether you eat or don't eat, and what you eat, and how long you know, and then what you eat is fueling your emotions. And can the emotions be eliminated? You know, it's a symbiotic circle. You got to deal with both. You got to deal with the diet. You got to deal with the emotions. You got to deal with just overall being able to be real with yourself. You know, looking in the mirror and being totally honest with where you're at, and that's tough for a lot of people, because a lot of people, they kind of you know, Mucusless Diet will make you have high self-esteem, because if you don't have high self-esteem, it's hard to practice a diet, because this thing will push you further than you think you want to be pushed, and it's always going to be on your weakness. See, people want to try to pick what they get pushed. All right, so some people want to be pushed. Well, they would love to be pushed in terms of, you know, fasting longer and more vigorously, but they don't want to be pushed in the area of emotions and dealing with having bullied people in the past and the guilt that they might feel, or having gone through some kind of tragedy or something. You know, they didn't sign up for that. They thought that this was just about fruit diet and fasting. They didn't sign up for, you know, dealing with the nervous breakdown and the panic attacks that they might have had years ago. They didn't know. They didn't know that was going to be the first thing that they had to deal with. Not this. This is what you want. This is what your body's gonna make you do. It's different. So my advice is open yourself up so that you can listen to your body. Listen to what your body is saying. And go with that. You know, when in doubt, go with what your body is saying. For that to work, you do have to take a step in the right direction to get somewhat cleaner, because there is a level of, you know, doing what your body is telling you to do that's coming from a real sort of, the cleanliness part of you is different from your body telling you to indulge in, and that's not really your body telling you to indulge in the poison. That's poison telling you to indulge in it. So when you eliminate that poison, you don't get that message anymore. You don't get that, like, oh, I want to, you know, that man, I could smoke some weed right now. Like, that's not your body telling you to smoke weed. That's the poison in your body telling you to smoke weed or drink or take ecstasy or whatever it is people are doing today. I don't know. Bath salts. What's the thing now? Meth. You know, we gotta get out of that. You know, and most of y'all ain't even in that type of realm. But some of you might have come from some of those places, you know. And if you have, be ready for the emotional eliminations. That stuff's gonna come up, because anytime you use a drug to suppress, whether you know you're doing it or not, you are suppressing emotions. And because you can't just feel good without whatever it is you're grabbing onto, so you smoke something and you just suppress. You doing this, you know, you just suppress. You know, you eat some nasty stuff, you suppress. And as you get cleaner, you could eat some clean stuff. Maybe you're using even clean eating to suppress. You know, so it's relative depending on where you're at, but be ready. That's all I'm saying. Be ready for some serious upheavals and elimination. So all right. Well, I think I'm gonna cut this one off. I really hope that this video hadn't been flickering for you guys this whole time. I'm seeing flickers on my end, but it's possible that it's just on my end and not on yours. So let's hope. But I want to thank you for tuning in. As always, it's a privilege to be able to talk with you. Look forward to doing it a lot more in the upcoming months. You know, I'm still doing a lot of behind the scenes work. You know, unless you've done, you know, kind of run your own business or done this kind of thing, you know, you might not realize like how much work it really takes behind the scenes. It's a lot of time, especially, you know, in my case, you know, I'm relatively doing it by myself in terms of sort of the nuts and bolts of what I'm doing. You know, I got a lot of support. And I love you guys for supporting me, and you know, we got Brother Aaron, you know, and all the you know, and just everybody. You know, it's a lot of support. But there's certain things that I know that I have to do that I can't like ask somebody to help me with. Like, it's like, okay, I just got to do this. And you know, when you watch a lot of even folks on YouTube, a lot of the folks that have, you know, a whole lot of followers, all that kind of stuff, they have some kind of help, you know, with their on the business end, helping them organize things or do stuff, and you know, just kind of run different things or sales or whatever they do. They have help, and so that's something down the road. You know, I hope that I'll be able to, you know, we'll have some help, because this thing is gonna grow. It's just and at the same time, my goal is very different from the goals of everybody else that I've ever seen on YouTube. I want to foster a new culture and develop a new community. So a lot of other people are sort of dealing with communities that already exist and sort of cultivating their corner of it. You know, so a lot of the raw food folks, you know, they're sort of relying on, well, this is already built, like this is already a thing, and so I'll cultivate my little area within it. Or you know, or veganism, you know, it's the same kind of thing. Like, well, it's already a thing. You know, you're not creating the thing. It's there. All you got to do is sort of insert yourself into it. So Mucusless Diet healing system is different. And so part of my mission was, I'm gonna make this a thing, you know, and with your help, we're gonna make this a thing, and it's gonna be the thing. It's the next thing. It's gonna be the you know, not just like, well, this is raw or this, like, no, it's the Mucusless Diet healing system. We change the language. We practitioners, see, when you change the language, when people, you know, they use these, it's like this identity thing, and when you mix it with ego, it makes it so people feel guilty when they need to transition. So if you say, okay, well, I've been 100% raw, but now you're identifying with this, you're putting yourself in this box, and then when you start to really go through it, and you just, oh God, I feel, and you're going through it, then you, since you've already put yourself into this kind of box, now you're trying to find ways to stay in the box. But, well, let me grab some supplements, or let me do this, or let me, you know, you're grabbing all this instead of just like, just have some steamed vegetables. You know, I know that's heresy amongst a lot of the raw food community, but that just gets, that grates on me when people equate steamed mucus-free vegetables that you might, and you don't ever eat those vegetables by themselves, you eat them with a raw salad. You know, read the Mucusless Diet healing system. There's a system to this. There's a method to this. But it gets to me when people act like it's just, you know, that's as bad as eating any other kind of cooked food. Like, okay, just all cooked food is created equal. So if you eat cooked chicken, that's the same as eating steamed broccoli or cabbage or collard greens or whatever it is. No, no, you know, Mucusless Diet healing system, you know, baked zucchini, acorn squash, you know, there's, you know, coming from Mucusless Diet healing system, there ain't nothing wrong with dealing with that level, especially when you're dealing with it with the mucus-free. But then, of course, what they don't like is when we say, well, I'd rather see somebody have some steamed collard greens and a big salad than to have any kind of avocado anywhere near, you know, and that's, heads explode. But that's why this is not that. This is not raw foodism. This is not fruitarianism. This is what all these isms. This is the Mucusless Diet healing system. We are practitioners of the system. So when you call yourself a practitioner in terms of identity, that gives you leeway, the leeway that you need to, if you do a long-term fruit period, you did a long-term fruit period within the context of the Mucusless Diet. You do a fasting period, you're practicing the Mucusless Diet. You go back and you eat some mucus and lean items, you're practicing the Mucusless Diet. You fall off the wagon and you go and you eat some relapse, some foods that you thought you'd never eat again. It's okay. You're practicing the Mucusless Diet. It's, you know, and that's not an excuse, you know, I know that it's part of the, some of, not detractors, but some of the criticisms that people say, well, we're transitioning too slow, or we're, you know, you gotta, and it's like, well, I mean, you do what you want to do. You know, nobody's, I'm not telling you what to do, you do what you want to do. But for those that fall, and if you ever fall and you need a system to get back on your feet, I'm saying this is your system. And if you were to deal with the system from the beginning, as a lot of people tell me, I wish I'd have read that book before I did such and such, before I spent all this money or traveled over here or worked with this person or whatever. I wish I'd have had this Mucusless Diet information, because that would have made everything a little bit more rational, a little bit easier. And so that becomes my mission is, okay, I want to get this in front of the people that want it. You know, I'm not interested in trying to convince people that don't want this information. You know, other people can go through that hell on earth. My thing is, I want to make this information available for the people that deserve it, that need it, that want it. And with so much stuff out there, it's you know, it's a challenge, you know, to make enough, make it big enough, and make enough of a community so that we can support each other. And then other people that there's some people that would not want to plug it without a community there. They wouldn't necessarily get into something like this by themselves. And so, but now that we've got a community, it expands the number and type of people that can actually get into what we're doing. So practitioners, Mucusless Diet Healing System, no matter where you're coming from, you can come from being a fruitarian and say, okay, well, I'm gonna take a step back and let me just practice Mucusless Diet. You want to be a fruitarian, practice Mucusless Diet Healing System. You want to be a vegan, practice Mucusless Diet Healing System. Anything you want to be, the mechanics of the transition can help you achieve whatever goals you want to achieve within the realm of diet and healing. I mean, I firmly believe that whatever it is you want to accomplish within the context of transitional methodology and the system, you can do it. You know, you can get there. And you got the support now. You know, I'm here, Brother Harris here. We got Israel and Tony, Doug. You know, all the cats are Tobin. You know, all the cats are here, and there's some serious practitioners, and that's what we all like to see. And so again, please look down into the comment section, sign up for the Insiders Club. You will be very happy that you did. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section, and I will add them to my list. I have a list of about 130 or 40 questions that I compiled, over the past couple months. At one point I asked everybody, well, if you got questions, let me know. And so if you got some questions, I will put them down below in the comment section, and I'll see if they're not already on my list. I'll add them to the list, and then pretty much over the summer, next several months, I'm going to be making content, videos, blog posts, all that kind of stuff that will cover a lot of these questions. So so it's time. It's always about evolution, always about taking things to the next level. Nothing stays the same. Everything's always changing, and our job is to fit into that. It's like be the change. And once you fit into that, then life is easier because you're sort of rolling with those punches, because it's always going to kind of shift and change. And the problem is when you get attached to something, when you get attached to a particular period within your transition, you can enjoy it. So you can enjoy a particular period of your transition where it's like, wow, this really feels good. But don't get attached to it, because there's higher levels in your body. Once you get on this path, your body will start to kind of keep pushing you, keep pushing you. So you might enjoy something for a minute, and then all of a sudden you get pushed to this next level. Now you have a new new challenges, new things to deal with, new level of understanding, new consciousness, but new challenges. So but you will be equipped to deal with the challenges that you face at that point. So that's something to always remember. You always will have what you need. You might not always have what you want on this path, but you will have what you need if you just resign yourself to and submit, to this process, and decide to go on this journey. So let's go on this journey together, and we will transform ourselves and transform the world, and just make it a better place for you and for me, as the song goes. Heal the world, make it a better place. So thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, peace, love, and breath.